I wanted to talk about who would win between Terence Bud Crawford and Keith Thurman. Very good matchup. I always wanted to see that fight. The chances of that fight ever happening is very slim. It might, who knows? I mean, I really don't understand, man. You know, people say all the time, you know, boxers aren't going to fight if they don't see that they have anything to benefit. They don't want to take high risk, low reward fights. But, man, I mean, when I look at it, man, it's like these dudes already millionaires. They're not fighting for free. They still going to get a few $1 million. Who wouldn't want an extra $1 million to scrap for 12 rounds potentially? You know what I mean? Even though their life is on the line. Shit, man, you got people out here that's hanging on the side of buildings for like $30,000 a year. So you got to think about that for a minute. You know, so I always think about things like that. But anyway, what would happen? Who would win if these two ever scrapped in the ring? You got Terence Crawford, current WBO welterweight champion. Excellent fighter, power in both hands, very good ring IQ, switch hitter, a dog. He can be a pressure fighter when he wants to, but he can turn it off. Terence Crawford is like a blend. He's one of those fighters that has the whole. He's one of the fighters that's close to having every attribute, yo. Every attribute. He can scrap it out. He can dog it out with you in the ring. He can box you from the outside. He got good power. He has decent speed, great footwork, excellent ring IQ. Got Keith Thurman, former WBA champion, that just got his belt taken from Manny Pacquiao. Keith Thurman, athletic, okay footwork, good body moving at the top, great power, all around good speed. I think he's a little bit faster than Bud, a little bit more speed than Terence Crawford. So if these two ever fought in the ring, how would it look and what would happen more than likely? Well, Bud would download information like he always does. I think, you know, Terence Crawford starts off slow in a lot of his fights. Keith Thurman would start off fast. He would probably be more aggressive early on in that fight. Then around like the middle rounds, Bud would already been much more comfortable and already downloaded the info he needed to download on Keith Thurman. Then you're gonna start seeing Bud unload, body, you know, starting to put a little bit more pressure on Keith. You might see some spurts where you might see sections where them two get in the middle of the ring and probably phone booth it a little bit, maybe just a little bit. You might see that. But most of that fight is going to be fought from the outside by Keith Thurman, more like mid-range by Keith Thurman, and probably by Bud as well. I see Bud going to the body. Keith Thurman is susceptible to body shots, man. Luis Collazo did it. Manny Pacquiao did it. And probably a couple other fighters did it as well that I can't remember off the top of my head. But nonetheless, it will be a scrap that we wouldn't want to miss, man.
You are now entering a zone you've never seen before, all because of a dead battery. You are now entering Rebel Life Zone. So, here I go again, continuing where I left off at. Early on, battery died on me when I was making the first part of this video. So we gonna continue it from behind the scenes, you heard me? But yeah, it's a fight you definitely don't want to miss. The only problem is with this Keith Thurman, if Keith Thurman and Bud ever fought, would be, one factor would be if Keith Thurman has to be his old self. He has to be the Keith Thurman that was fighting like Danny Garcia and when I was fighting Sean Porter and early on. This new Keith Thurman, this laid back, likes Keith Thurman, which is probably here to stay. You know, if this was the 100% or close to 100% Keith Thurman, I would say this fight probably would have went to Keith Thurman. But since I think he lost a lot of the hunger for the sport, this fight is gonna go to the cards with it's hard to figure. No, sorry. Nah, this ain't going to the cards, man. Listen, man, I've been calling a lot of fights with people getting stopped to the body. I was wrong with I was right with the stoppage with Miguel Burchett and Oscar Valdez. I was wrong where I said he was going to get stopped at. I said Burchett was going to get stopped to the body in the 10th round, but he got stopped to the head. You know what I mean? This fight, though, I can see Bud stopping Keith Thurman, man, to the body. I'd give it 6 rounds. I think what's going to end up happening is Bud's going to start wearing down, putting the pressure on Keith Thurman. Once they're going to start trading mid-range, and then Bud going to bring it into the body. And he's gonna start tearing up his body, man. And I think Bud is too strong. But Pacquiao almost, it looked like Pacquiao could have stopped Keith Thurman to the body. But Keith Thurman was giving Pacquiao some business in the second half of that fight, man. But Bud is a different animal, man. So I got Bud more than likely stopping Keith Thurman to the body, man. 6 rounds. If we had the old Keith Thurman, this fight would have went to the cards, man. I think it would have went 12 with a decision going to Terence Crawford, more than likely. Because, you know, Crawford is much more evasive and much more craftier than Keith Thurman. So lots of times in that fight, if it was the 100% Keith Thurman would miss some of his shots, but would get out the way, counter him all night long. So there's Keith Thurman, there's no way he's beating Bud. Rather, if it was his 100% self or this new and old nearly shot Keith Thurman. So either way, he loses. But if this Keith Thurman that we got now, he loses with a body shot, 6-round KO, Terence Crawford. That would be my prediction if they would ever fight. Let me know what you think about this fight if it ever happened. Who you got? Who will win? Terence Crawford or Keith Thurman? Get back to me, man. Catch y'all on the next video. Peace out.